Struggles between doctrines, religions, and churches. The Third Testament, Revelations of Jesus Christ, Chapter 54. Spiritual struggles before the reign of peace of Christ on earth. Thus saith the Lord. Just as I announced my coming in the second era, I announce to you now the war of creeds, ideas, and religions, as the event foreshadowing the establishment of my reign of spirituality among men. My word, like a sword of fire, shall destroy the fanaticism that for centuries has enveloped men, shall pull back the veil of ignorance and point out the white, luminous road that leads to me. I tell you that for the peace of my reign to be established among men, a war of doctrines, religions, and ideas shall still be necessary. A war in which one doctrine rises to combat another, and in which some use my name and my truth to confront the false gods of others. That shall be the new contest, the spiritual battle in which the false gods fall from their pedestals, and all the falseness you had held as truth is revealed. You shall see how among that chaos of confusion and darkness, the splendid truth shall shine. Spiritualism is provoking a worldwide battle between ideas, beliefs, and the various cults. But after that struggle, this doctrine shall bring men the blessed peace they so much need, and make the sun of my divine justice shine out over all the spirits. I am preparing you and warning you for the time when the confusion of ideas arises, so that you can free yourselves of the interior struggle of the spirit and the torture of thought. All the ideas, doctrines, theologies, philosophies, and beliefs of humanity, symbolized as a storm, shall be removed, as a true storm of the spirit, over whose raging waters I wish you to navigate, remaining afloat until the storm and darkness pass. I give you no better formula for getting through that trial than prayer and the practice of my word, by means of which your faith will be continually fortified. That battle of ideas, that contest between creeds and ideas, that struggle are indispensable to make all the defects and errors accumulated in the depths of every cult and institution come to light. Only after that storm passes can there be a moral and spiritual purge of mankind, for they shall see the truth rise up. They shall know it, shall feel it in themselves, and they will no longer be able to feed on appearances and fictions. Thus, just as each man takes freely for himself the necessary exposure of the sun upon his body, recognizing that in its light, its heat, and in its influence there is material life, so too shall they take from the light of truth as much sustenance, strength, and illumination of the spirit as they need. Then man shall feel strong as never before, for his life shall begin to adhere to true principles, to the norms established by my law. The contest for spiritual supremacy on earth. In this time, there is a struggle between ideas and doctrines. Each man wants to be thought right, but who can be right in this contest of selfishness and interests? Who can be the owner of truth? If those who believe they possess truth and are on the perfect road become vain for that reason, I can tell you truthfully that they do not yet know that road. For on that road, it is necessary to have humility, and it is enough to fail to recognize the truth contained in the beliefs of others, to cease being humble. I told you since the second era, blessed are the meek and humble of heart. The man who judges the faith and beliefs of his brothers distances himself from salvation, for in his pride and folly he tries to be equal to God. You ask me what I am trying to do by manifesting spiritually among humanity in this time. I answer that what I seek is your awakening to the light, your spirituality, and your unification, For in all the times you have been divided, for while some have sought the treasures of the Spirit, others have dedicated themselves to loving the wealth of this world. Spiritualism and materialism are always in conflict. Spiritualists and materialists have never been able to understand each other. Remember Israel, awaiting the Messiah. When they had him in front of their eyes, they divided into believers and deniers of my truth. The explanation is simple. Those who awaited me with the Spirit believed, and those who waited with their material senses denied me. These two forces must confront each other again, until from the struggle the truth arises. The struggle will be better, for men love the earthly more as time passes, because their science and their discoveries make them feel as though they are in their own kingdom, in a world that they have created. Today, every man believes he knows the entire truth. Each religion says it possesses the truth, and the men of science claim to have found it. I tell you, absolutely no one knows the truth, for the part revealed to men has not been understood by them. All men bear within themselves a part of the truth, and part of the errors that they mix with the light of truth. The battle approaches, in which all those forces shall take part, each wishing to impose its idea. But it shall not, in the end, be a human theory that triumphs, nor yet a scientific theory or a religious creed, but the harmonious joining of all the good ideas, all the higher beliefs, all the worship raised up to the peak of spirituality, of all the sciences put into the service of true human progress. I shall permit men to speak and expound their ideas, to others that they publicly display their rights and worship, that they argue and struggle, that the scientists present their most advanced theories, that all that is hidden in each spirit rise up, flower and manifest itself. For the day of the reaping is near, the day when the conscience, like an inexorable scythe, cuts to the roots of all that is false in the hearts of humanity. The struggle against spiritualism. The ministers of these times adorn themselves royally to officiate symbolically at the sacrifice of Jesus. But in spite of the fact that they claim my name and my representation, I find their minds disturbed, their hearts scorched by the winds of intrigues and passions. There is not one who, like a prophet, proclaims that I am among the men of this time. They shall feel great bitterness, for there is no spiritual preparation among them. Where is the compliance of those who swore before Jesus to follow in his footsteps? Where are the imitators of my apostles? Are there none who are like John, who was among the first, or Paul, who was of the later? That is why the Master comes again to renew his lesson to you. I see already the new Pharisees and scribes, full of hatred, throwing themselves at me. That shall be when I ask, where are my disciples? When those who are arrogant, those who are fraudulent, those of the rich that fear to lose their power, and those threatened by my truth, mock and persecute me. Hurricane winds shall blow, and it shall not be I who fall beneath the weight of the cross, but they who asked that he who gave them life be sacrificed. At the injustice of men, the wave of materialism shall rise up like an angry sea, a sea of pains, desperation, and anguish. Only one vessel shall float over that sea of passions, greed, and human hatred. That ship will be my law. Happy will be those who are strong when that time comes. Woe to those who slumber then. Woe to the weak. Woe to the people who have built their faith on foundations of religious fanaticism, for they shall be easy prey for the furious waves. Do you not foresee the battle, humanity? Does my word not move you to prepare to defend yourselves when the time comes? My light is in all, but only those who pray and prepare can see it. My light speaks through presentiments, through inspiration, intuition, and through dreams and warnings. Yet you are indifferent to all the signs from the divine. Soon you shall see my word redeemed, and give witness that it contains truth. My doctrine and my name shall be the target of all sorts of attacks and persecutions. It shall be the motive of your persecution by the enemies of truth. Yet my doctrine shall also be the sword of light of those who rise up, defending the faith, and it shall be the shield behind which the innocent are defended. My name shall be on all lips, blessed by some and cursed by others. All the faculties of man are unleashed. His intelligence, his sentiments, his passions, his spiritual powers are all awakened and ready for the struggle. How much confusion there shall be then! How many there shall be who, having believed that they had faith in me, will be convinced that it was not true faith? In many homes and hearts, the light of love and hope will be extinguished. Children and youths will have no other God but the world, and no more laws but those of the earth. What will happen when men realize their measureless love for the world and their worship of earthly things has led them to painful failure? They will try to find the road lost. They will search for the principles and laws they have deviated from. And in that search, doctrines will be created, precepts counseled, and philosophies, ideas, and theories shall arise. All of this will be the beginning of a great new battle, but not one promoted by the selfish ambitions of earthly power. There shall be none of the fratricidal arms that end lives, destroying homes and spilling human blood. This combat will be different, for it will be the great religious struggling against the new doctrines and the new religions. Who will triumph in that battle? No religion will be the winner in that contest. Just as in the fratricidal wars you now suffer, no one people will be triumphant. Over the war for material domination, my justice will rule, and later over the new battle to achieve the imposition of certain doctrines or religions, my truth shall be imposed. The one single truth shall flash like lightning in the night of the storm, and each one, wherever he might be, shall behold that splendor. My message will come to all, and all will come to me. I have everything prepared for the times to come, and all shall do my will, for I am the owner of spirits and worlds, of races and of the peoples. The rejection of the spiritual revelations and spiritual healings. The spiritual valley shall come yet closer to men, to give them testimony of its existence and its presence. On all roads there shall be signs, evidence, revelations, and messages that insistently proclaim that a new era has begun. There shall be struggle, and there shall be upheaval in the peoples. For the religions shall sow fear in those who believe those messages, and science shall deny the truth of those happenings. Then the humble shall rise up, sheathing themselves in valor, to testify to the truth of the evidence they have received. Those who, having been deprived of hope by science, shall recover their health spiritually, and testify of the miraculous cases that reveal a power that is infinite and of absolute wisdom. Among the humble and ignored, there shall arise men and women whose words, full of light, shall surprise the theologians, philosophers, and scientists. And when the struggle is at its height, and the poor and humiliated, and their testimonies denied by the arrogant, that shall be the moment when Elijah calls the wise, the lords, and the princes, and puts them to the test. Woe to the false and hypocrites in that hour, for perfect justice shall descend to them. It shall be the hour of justice, but from it many spirits will ascend to the true life. In many hearts faith will arise, and many eyes will be opened to the light.